I'm sure that you know you can find so many amazing finds at the thrift store. One of my recent finds was a pair of curtains. So I was looking for relatively sheer or lightweight looking curtains for my shop because I have a window that is in the fitting room that also acts as my office that goes, obviously a window looks to the outside, but my space is in the basement, so it's a dugout, it's a window well, so I knew that certainly there's no chance of someone looking straight in, but I did want some covering for some privacy. And in a recent trip to the Salvation Army, I stumbled upon these curtains. So just kind of fun that I could make use of them, but they're extra long. And one of the things that I've had clients, ask about so many times during the years is, well, of this window, but I just can't find the right size. And what we don't naturally think about is, oh, I found curtains, I can shorten them. So shortening curtains is really a very simple task. It's one straight stitch, one straight stitch on the sewing machine. And I do understand that maybe you're one of those people that says, well, I just can't sew a straight line. I can't cut a straight line. It does take a little bit of work, but it's so worth it. So this particular pair I found for $3.50 at Salvation Army. I mean, a whole set of curtains. It just needs to be hemmed at the bottom to be shortened, and there's going to be quite a bit left at the bottom, so maybe I'll be able to use that for something else in another project. But when you talk about curtains, and whether you're making them or putting them up, we look at the rod pocket. So this is the top rod pocket, and sometimes it is hard to tell the difference between the top and the bottom. It's not always necessary that you have to know the difference, but there are different ways of like hanging curtains. Maybe there's a rod pocket, maybe there's grommets or tabs. Those are also common ways that curtains come. And this has the tag down here and the smaller portion, so it's much narrower, would be the bottom hem of this curtain. But think about, maybe you found a pair of curtains that has grommets at the top and you don't want grommets, you want a rod pocket. So you can shorten that pair from the top rather than from the bottom. There's so many possibilities when we just think outside the box and recognize that when we can alter and sew things, that that changes the size, which makes it totally worthwhile for your project and saves you so much money in the long run. I'm still fighting this cold a little bit, so my throat is a little bit hoarse, and then of course I get talking and you have that little tickle in your throat and it comes up a little bit. So here I have this curtain laid out on my table, and you are going to want it to be quite straight as possible. Now I would like the curtain to be 49 long. 49 long. I'm seeing, yes, I bought it secondhand. I see I washed it, but there's a couple of spots here. I'm not going to worry about that too much. So 49. In fact, it's going to be okay because those spots come just after where I want the curtain to fall. Now, 49 is the finished length. Well, I am going to add 3 inches to the length of that for my hem. What I like to do is put a pin here. So 49 plus 3 is 52. So I mark with a pin. You can mark with some kind of measuring tool like chalk or something like that. But I am fine with marking with a pin. So there we go. And I'm going to just continue marking across. And it's just a little bit wider than my table, which does make it a little complicated to keep it straight, but it's not too bad. So continuing to look for that 52-inch mark. Now, before I cut, the other thing that I do, because especially curtains that are kind of sheer, they can be a little bit tricky and deceptive, so to speak, in how they pull, etc. So I like to match up the top and see if it is even. Like, are the side seams the same length from what I measured? And it appears that they are. Let's see. And so I'm going to grab that little piece of chalk and use that as a chalk line. For where I'm going to cut. So it's very faint. I could take my pins out or just gently cut just below them. Now, because my scissors hang on a magnetic strip, often my pins will magnetize to the scissors a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to open that back up. So I have my straight cut edge. And now I need to fold it up for the hem. And this should be folded up 3 inches. So there's the 3-inch. And I'm going to put a little pin here on the fold to hold it there, but then I'm going to go ahead and fold this down. Now, the width of your hem seam is your prerogative. This one is going to come out to about 1 3/4. As you sew for an extended period of time, you'll notice that the measurements, you'll start to just be able to eyeball them a little bit more for something like that. So actually, I wanted to hem that. And it's possible that you hear little feet above me, even though there's a silencer on this. So we're going to pin that like that. So right on the fold. So I'm trying to pin that and bring it down. Let's see. And then I'm going to continue pinning along. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other curtain panel. And before I hem this, so I'm pinning it, and then pinning that here. I want to match the side seams to make sure they're equal length. and those are perfect. So we're good to go for the next one. So I'm bringing these over to the sewing machine, and I'm realizing that in the background you probably also have heard the sound of a nail gun, because my husband is working in the basement while on some of the other rooms down here while I'm in my shop. I realized that you can't wait until everything is perfect for progress. So if you notice, I just kind of pick a mark and figure out how to guide my thread according to that mark. Now, many of the home machines will have a line for the number of inches. You can set your own line or guide over here. In fact, I have one that screws in here that you can adjust. But basically you want to make sure that your needle is always equidistant from the edge. So here I have a little hole that I'm kind of like eyeballing as my line guide. Then going in that hole is actually to screw an attachment into this machine. But in general, you think about when you're driving, you're trying to go forward straight. And one of the ways to do that is to have a central focus point. Of course, the road might not be the perfect example as it's curvy, but I know in sailing often my grandfather would tell me, well, pick a point across the lake and you're going to focus on that. And if you aim for that point and stay fixed on it, then you'll get there. And though this folded edge, inner folded edge, might be pretty perfect, that is not going to be our guide, because if this wavers, then it will take us a different distance from here, and really we want the bottom edge as our straight edge. And in order for our seam to be straight, then we're going to have to follow that bottom edge as our guiding point. I'm going to continue to stitch. Remove the pins as you go and finish off the seam. Now that my curtain is finished, I just wanted to give you a brief look. So see how it hangs from rod pocket at the top and down. I do love the look in here. It just brightens it up and it's really cool. So if you have a curtain that you found that you've thrifted, just put it on the machine, shorten it up, and you are good to go, because it is such an amazing way to be frugal, be really purposeful about reusing textiles. Maybe you even have curtains that you had from a previous home that you can shorten up. I definitely have a couple of those.
Thank you for watching. You can shop tutorials and classes on my website, naomifeda.net. Be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, may God sow his love into your heart today.